Hi, it's Heather. I am back with another process video. Thank you for joining me today. I am working with the Pink Paisley Moonstruck collection, which is not that old, but this is my first layout I have used or done with this collection. I have really been trying to use up my older stash, but I just couldn't hold out any longer because I love everything about this collection. So I am starting out with a cut file from Paper Issues, and I backed it with that gorgeous dark butterfly paper because it kind of, like the coloring kind of reminds me of a moon. But the inspiration for this layout actually started with that piece of chipboard. It says Heaven Sent, and I have had that for a very long time, like years and years. And I keep a tray of some random things out on my desk, hoping to use it on a layout, and if I put it away then I forget about it. And so I had that sitting out, and have this picture of my daughter. She is sleeping, one of the many photos I snap while she's sleeping because she just looks so peaceful. So that's where the inspiration for this layout started, was that piece of chipboard. And what I am doing now is I'm actually painting it with my Delusions, paint, the white paint. And normally I would use white gesso, and I use white gesso a lot, but if you haven't use these paints before, they are so thick and they cover so well the first time. So I only needed one coat. And the reason why I did that is because I knew I wanted to emboss it. And the embossing color, like the finish embossing, it doesn't always look true to the color on chipboard, so that's why I wanted to paint it first. And like I said, I used the white paint because it covers so well the first time. So I'm letting that dry, and what you saw me just pull out were these packs, this pack that I had of these feathers. I think they're from an old Heidi Swapp collection, and they're already like clear or white embossed, so you spray them or ink them and then it reveals the embossed pattern. And I've had them for so long, and this collection, as you can see, or anybody who has this art collection at home knows that there's some feathers in some of the pattern papers and in the embellishments. So I don't actually use the matching feathers from the collection, and I'm sure that I will, but I thought that this was a good opportunity for me to try and use up some of those other feathers. So I do spray those with some inks later on and include. So right now you're seeing me just layer some of the pieces from the ephemera behind my photo, and I printed this photo in black and white because, well, one, I always like the way it looks. It just looks, I don't know, kind of classic to have a black and white photo, and the pillow that she is resting on is actually like a turquoise blue, and so printing in black and white definitely allows you to use any collection you want or color scheme. And so I am just going through some of the pieces there, and of course I really wanted to use that dreamy word, but because it is appropriate, and I already have my title, which will be that Heaven Sent piece of chipboard, but who says that you can't put more than one title? So I kind of layered things out and to get an idea of how I wanted the design to be, but I also knew that I wanted to add some texture to my background, and as you've probably already noticed, I switched the piece of paper just because that other one, it just seemed too dark. So I really like the lighter one, and it already had some sort of watercolory look to it, and all I did was add through my Prima stencil there some translucent embossing powder that's from Dreamweavers, and it shows up, you'll see it later on, but it shows up, it gives this beautiful shine, and it's subtle, so it's not quite as white as a regular embossing paste. So while that's drying, I am finishing up my title, and I'm using my Stampendist dabber. It's like Versamark like embossing ink, but it's liquid. So I like to use that a lot on chipboard or things that have a lot of detail to it. And I actually go over this twice because I missed some of the areas the first time. So I did 2 layers of the embossing ink, and that is a little container of gold tinsel, I believe it's called. It's from Tim Ranger. So there you see that texture, that gorgeous little subtle shiny pattern on the background. That's actually one of my favorite stencils. And I thought about doing stars, but this stencil, it kind of has like star shape and some circles, and there are already so many stars that end up on this layout. I didn't want to add any more. So there are all those feathers that I mentioned earlier that are already embossed, and so I haven't added any color to them because I just wanted to figure out how many I wanted to use. And part of this video is actually cut out, unfortunately. I record from my phone, and I received a phone call and it stopped my recording. So that is what I'm showing you now, is during the part that stopped recording, I backed the open stars with another pattern paper, which is actually the back of that butterfly. It's like this black and white stripe. And I also went over the white part of the cut file with the white pearlescent color from that watercolor palette. Oh, forgive me, I can't recall the name of it, but I will mention it below. And just to give a little bit more color and dimension to the background, I did add some ink splatters, not a lot, but I used the Heidi Swapp Color Shine. I think it's called Tinsel. It's like a dark gray silverish color. I used some shimmers and Pretty in Pink, and also Pop Art Pink, I believe it's called. It's a Vibes. And I also used a shade of Lindy Stamp Gang. I think it's called Cosmopolitan Pink. So just, it's not a lot of color, but because the pattern paper in the background, it already, I didn't do all of that. That pattern paper was already like that, and it was beautiful, but I just wanted to add a little bit more color to it to tie into the embellishments that I was using. So I am looking through the puffy stickers and those clear stickers, just trying to figure out what I wanted to add, and I moved things around quite a bit. And I didn't want to go too heavy on the embellishing, although, you know, the first time you dip into a collection, you just want to add everything. Am I alone in that? I don't think so. I hope not. But just because I wanted the title and the cut file and that detail and the picture, of course, just to stand out. So I didn't add as much as I had wanted to at the time, but I'm really happy with the way that it turned out. So those feathers that you see on the right hand side of the photo sticking out, I have added color to them. I sprayed them with the shimmers Pop Art Pink, and I think it was, I added a little bit of Sunset Strip. It's kind of an orangey color, and I know you're looking at this going, orange, what? But there is some, like, it's not even the matching shade of orange. And I say orange, but it's not really that orange. It's like a yellowy orange. Does that make sense? Anyway, so I used that butterfly, and it was one of the clear stickers. And I actually cut, it's actually a square sticker, and I actually cut around the butterfly just because I didn't want that square shape to show up. And it is clear, so it's not really noticeable, but I just liked it better without the square background, if that makes sense. So these stars that you see on the left hand side, those are from my stash, just things that I've punched and random things from other collections. And I have a bunch of gold ones, and this gold actually matches the clear gold stickers very well, which is not always easy because there's so many different shades of gold out there. But I wanted to add a few of them here and there, just to spread more. So I think I used like 6 or 7 of the gold hearts, and I just layer a couple around my photo and down and around the hearts that are dangling, not the hearts, the stars that are dangling from the moon. I did, when I attached the moon, I glued it down with some double-sided tape, but I did pop the stars up. So behind the stars that are dangling down below, I put those up on some fun foam, little pieces of fun foam. So that's why I was able to layer some of the stars underneath. I really wanted to layer the entire cut file on some fun foam, but as you can see, those like white strips of white cardstock that the stars are attached to, it was just so thin I couldn't do it. And I almost toyed with cutting them apart and maybe hand stitching, but I haven't done that very often, and it still intimidates me a little bit. So I am working on other layouts with hand stitching, and I haven't recorded any of them yet, but they will be coming soon. So right now I am just looking through some little puffy stickers. Those clouds, they're more like epoxy clouds. They are from Freckled Fawn, and I didn't want to add, I think I only add 3, and I really wanted to add them because obviously they fit the theme. Although, to be honest, I wasn't entirely crazy with the look of them with this layout. It just, I don't know, they were so shiny and white, but I added them anyway because I felt like when I bought them, I loved them, but I just didn't know how many more layouts I would encounter, come across, so I could use them. So it's the next day now. If you didn't notice, the light changed and I'm wearing something else. And I added some little jewels from Lucy's cards to finish it up. And this is my final layout. I really hope that you enjoyed it. I really appreciate you watching. Please hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I hope you found some inspiration in what I did. Again, thanks so much. I appreciate you watching. Have a great day.